The amount of data that we utilize to train these models has increased significantly, as has the learning and synthetic data production capabilities. That's one. Naturally, Blackwell's ability to generate tokens at astonishing speeds is the other factor. All of these elements have combined to create an exceptionally high demand for Blackwell. Now let's discuss our plans for using this technology. I think the headline, Nvidia is AI in India was excellent. Now, other from the letter V. The remainder of that text could be created using Nvidia, which I found to be extremely cool. You may not be aware of this, but we had to name our business in 1993. I'll give you the extreme short version, but the reason we went with Nvidia was because I genuinely adored the company. India and Nvidia seem like magical places, and they sounded wonderful. Therefore, we could achieve nearly anything if computer graphics and rapid computation didn't work out for us. Simply put, I'm glad things went well. Now, let's talk about Nvidia in India. Our ecosystem is quite rich. The first thing you need to understand is that you have to start with the infrastructure ecosystem before you can develop an AI ecosystem in any sector or nation. We declared that we are collaborating with Yada, ET Communications, and other partners to establish essential computer infrastructure in India. This year, by the end of this year, we will have over 20 times as many computers in India as we had a year ago. We're constructing that much infrastructure. The aid of almost every business in the globe that we have developed over the past few decades, whether it be in your industry or mine, is undergoing significant transformation. Seismic shift. Tectonic movements. Let's discuss that today. Before we begin, however, I would want to express my gratitude to all of our partners, our amazing partners, with whom we are collaborating to revolutionize the IT sector in India. That you are all here with us today makes me very happy. The idea of it as we know it was first presented to the world by IBM. The concept of general-purpose computing was first proposed by them. They discussed multitasking, I/O subsystems, a central processing unit, CPU, and the operating system layer, which separates hardware and application software. IBM explained application family compatibility so that you may run your software for a long time using the installed base of your hardware. In order to avoid wasting the money you spend on software and software usage each time you purchase new hardware, they explained the architectural advantages that span generations. In 1964, they acknowledged the significance of the installed base, the value of software investment, and the significance of constructing computers that support the discipline of software architecture. In 1964, all of this was explained. I just gave an overview of the modern computer industry, which is the foundation of the Indian IT sector. As of right now, general-purpose computers has been around for 60 years. The impact of long-term accelerated computing may be much greater. We have been working to accelerate one area of application after another for the past 30 years. There is just no magic processor that can speed up everything in the globe, which is why this has taken so long. You would simply refer to it as a CPU if it were possible. The computing stack must be redesigned, starting with the algorithms and architecture at the bottom and working your way up to the applications on top. The nvda architecture was first used in computer graphics, but we have since expanded its use to other industries. We are accelerating a lot of significant industries now. KDHO, computational lithography, simulation, and computer-aided engineering, is essential to the production of semiconductors. We recently announced agreements to advance the 5G software stack, including 5G radios. With classical quantum hybrid computing, quantum computing enables us to create the computing of the future. Our gene sequencing software stack, Parabricks, is essential. One of the most crucial projects that any business is working on is CVS, which is moving from databases to knowledge bases in order to build AI databases. It seems like accelerated computing is employed everywhere because these acceleration libraries now span so many different disciplines. The reason behind this is that we have implemented this design in almost every industry and domain. A few years ago, accelerated computing, or CUDA, hit a tipping point. A significant event occurred approximately 10 years ago, and the majority of you have witnessed the same thing. AlexNet significantly improved computer vision performance. One crucial area of artificial intelligence is computer vision. The world was taken aback by the significant advancement that AlexNet be applied to other issues. How would we alter each and every layer of the computing stack to completely redesign computing if we had faith in that future and were enthusiastic about what deep learning could accomplish? We made the decision to commit our entire organization to pursuing this objective 12 years ago. The process of developing software is the foundation of our industry. Software 1.0 was created by programmers who would write algorithms, also known as functions, for a computer to execute. To forecast an outcome, we would apply it to input data. Someone would write computer executable algorithms in Python, C, Fortran, Pascal, or C++. It produces output when input is applied to it. Classically speaking, the computer model was widely accepted and gave rise to one of the biggest global industries. We now understand the significance of a wide range of data kinds, including particle physics, fluid patterns, and amino acids. We have mastered a wide range of information representation techniques. We can transfer it to another modality in addition to having grasped its meaning. Translations from Hindi to Hindi, from pixels to images, image recognition, from words to pixels, image generation, from images and videos to words, captioning, from words to proteins, used for drug discovery, from words to chemicals, finding new compounds, and from amino acids to proteins, insight into protein structure, are all excellent examples. These core concepts, which are basically a universal way to translate data from one modality to another, have produced a. If you require any other changes, please let me know. Yes, I did just say that AMD should be treated as a separate business. Although there is some overlap in their functions, Nvidia has a clear advantage when it comes to AI spending on GPUs and Blackwell. That's just the way things are. Therefore, in my opinion, catch-up is not a mathematically sound strategy. Well, if it doesn't tell the narrative, I'm not sure what does. What does Jason Snipe do? Since you own both Qualcomm and Nvidia, you tell me. I take it you don't own AMD. You don't need to tell that story because it's not particularly interesting. Scott, I don't necessarily think so. It goes without saying that the price action conveys a tale. And it was obviously a light guide, I believe. The guidance wasn't terrific, but it was a rough quarter. I mean, they beat on the top and bottom, whatever. And I believe that when you go back at ASML and their earnings, which were also ugly, and then you see what happened with Taiwan Semi, whose stock I know is owned by Wise, and it was a blowout, it just goes to show that there are a select few businesses who are truly succeeding in this market. And Nvidia, well, let's just call it that. You have a stock that was over a third higher than Nvidia at the beginning of the quarter, at 80 times trailing PE. They don't expand as quickly. They're still more costly than Nvidia now. And that price will go up next year. What were people thinking then? This trade is solely based on momentum. No matter how excellent Lisa Su is as a CEO, I have no reason to think she isn't. This isn't her fault, and I do like and respect her. It might be her fault that she caught the GPU wave a bit too late. CPUs are still crucial though. The point is that, given that Nvidia is currently selling at a lower valuation, it was foolish to own this stock at that price. I own Nvidia, so I know they're both overpriced, but I'm not sure what folks were thinking. And we'll discuss a healthcare organization that might be in a similar situation. It still doesn't make sense. It's AMD. Let's talk about two topics. Since you mentioned the spends beneficiaries, let me ask you a question before I go on to Meta. What's AMD up to? That stock of yours is having a bad day. I think it's reasonable to say that it's striving to catch up. As an actual owner of this stock, what do you think? The internal discussion is that AMD is doing really well, assuming you weren't looking at the results from Nvidia and other companies. It's developing nicely.